What's up, guys?
Yeah. How we doing, Tad?
Good.
Obviously, it's been, the last 2 weeks especially, with games reshuffling times and several games all, being played with each other. How do you think you guys handled all that, all the travel, and then obviously winning most of those games?
Yeah, the schedule has been a lot for our guys and for our staff. We played 4 games in 8 days, and we've done that twice now, and we're about to do it again next week. It's something I've never gone through before. It's just it's a lot, and then with the travel, guys missing school, they've got a lot of work they got to catch up on. It's been tough, but as you said, we've won 6 of 7 games, and our only loss obviously was the North Dakota State in overtime. So our guys have played well and adjusted, but it's not ideal from a preparation standpoint. Both North Dakota State and us just had one day to prepare for maybe one of the bigger games of the year because of the reshuffling. So not a big fan of it, but it is what it is. Got to do what we have to do.
Yeah, so how important and how much are you going to enjoy having, 6 days in between games this week?
It's big. We've played 4 games in 8 days. We've had some sickness go through our team. Goody didn't feel good the other night, so he didn't play much. Damani came in and did a great job. We're still trying to get X healthy where he can play, and we're hoping that happens. And so I don't even know what to do with myself for, it's 6 days to prepare for a game. It's nice. Needed time for our guys, for their bodies, also academics. We're going to take today off. We took yesterday off, and then we'll start back up on Tuesday.
All right, and then looking ahead to Saturday, obviously, South Dakota State, first place in the league. They took care of business against you guys up in Brookings. Obviously, you were a little shorthanded, but how big of a challenge are they? I mean, they can score with anyone, but, just what makes them so hard to defend, I guess?
Well, they've got, first of all, they're a really easy team to prepare for. They're just an extremely difficult team to play because they do a really good job of keeping it simple. They space the floor as well as anybody in the country. Obviously, shooting the 3, they do that better as well as anybody in the country. We know what they're going to do offensively. They pound the ball inside of their posts. And if you get into doubling the post or helping, their shooters just space, and they can shoot it from deep. And they have a lot of guys that shoot it well, obviously. So you have to pick how you want to guard them. They're going to pound it inside. They'll set an occasional ball screen. They don't run a lot of offense. They're really good one-on-one players, and so you're going to have to guard the ball and guard the post. If you get into help and rotations against them, they share the basketball really well, and so you get into trouble once you get into any type of rotations against them. So then it becomes more of a one-on-one matchup, and obviously they're very talented and very good one-on-one basketball players.
Taylor Shireman's kind of their do-everything player for him. How important will it be to try to, contain him as much as you can, and if you guys hope to come away with a win on Saturday?
Yeah, that's big. Shireman's one of the best players in our league, if not the best. He does so many things for them. He's a great passer. He rebounds the ball. He can score in the post also. He can score one-on-one. And then he shoots the ball with deep range. So he's a big key for them because and late in the clock, they like to get him the ball. He's a tough matchup. The game seems so easy for him because we joke about it. It doesn't look like he's ever working hard, which is but he is because he's getting rebounds, he's scoring. But the game looks so easy for him, And I think that's a tribute to how good of a player he is.
Coach, the last time you played them, I know you're not in the moral victory business here, but as shorthanded as you were, as much as the team had struggled before the COVID layoff, I think everybody thought that you played them extremely hard. And your team after that went on the win streak. It seems like your team did they gain a little extra confidence? Did something kind of change with them after they played that SCSU game that maybe even carries over into this next one?
I don't know if that's the case. I thought our guys we did play. We played them in stretches. You know, they're a team that can get on a roll. They started the game out really well, and then we came back and really did a good job. But then they ended the half on a run, and so you've got to do a good job to minimize those runs. I don't think our guys. It was such a strange time. You know, we had 4 practices in 16 days. We didn't have much of a roster. Damani wasn't healthy enough to play. You know, it was just different, you know, and I don't think our guys gained anything morally from that. I just think we had time to prepare for North Dakota, and then we started, we got guys healthy and we were able to practice, and so we've played well through that. That game against South Dakota State seemed so long ago, and we really didn't have much of a roster at that time, or guys we hadn't been able to practice or prepare. So it was just a hard game to play.
Is Xavier Fuller getting any closer to getting back on the court?
Yeah, he is getting closer. He worked out this morning. He says he feels better. We're hoping that he can come back soon. I can't put a date on that, but we're hoping he comes back. He's going to try to practice this week and see how it goes and see how his knee feels.
So going into this SDSU game, like you mentioned, the last one seems like a long time ago, but you've got as close to a full deck as you could have, I guess, other than him being out. And again, the way they bounced back after that tough loss in overtime, getting a week between, do you feel like they've got a pretty good confidence level? They've got to be feeling pretty good about themselves going into this game.
Yeah,
they can certainly make a different outcome than what happened the last time.
Yeah, no, we're first of all, we're going to have a week to prepare. We're much healthier. We've won 6 of 7, and as we talked about, the only loss is against North Dakota State in overtime, a team that's one of the better teams in our league. I think our guys are confident. We'll have a week where we can focus on ourselves. You know, during these stretches where you're playing 4 games in 8 days, or you know, you really can't focus on getting better individually or improving your team. You're always preparing for the next opponent, and that makes it hard. Normally in league, you have that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before you play your Thursday, Saturday, and you know, Monday you spend working on things that you can improve on from the weekend, and spend some time on yourself fundamentally, and then you start preparing for the opponent. This week will be big because we'll be able to focus on ourselves for a couple days, 2 or 3 days of practice as we prepare for, then we'll start preparing for South Dakota State. We're in a different mindset, clearly, from the last time we played them. We're much healthier. We have a deeper bench. We're at home. But that being said, we know how good they are and how the matchups and how tough they are to defend. And so, but we're in a different spot than we were last time we played them.
Hey, Todd, is there a scenario where Xavier plays Saturday?
He's going to practice this week, and we're going to see how his knee feels, yes. There's a possibility of that. Yep.
So obviously, Boogie has been one of the beneficiaries, I guess, of his absence. I guess, what does that point guard rotation look like when Xavier's back?
Well, we'll have to see. You know, having Boogie play and play better and taking the ball handling responsibilities away from Cruz and letting Cruz play off the ball and Mason play off the ball, I think has really helped those two offensively. We ask Mason a lot to guard one of the best, if not the best, offensive players on the other team, and then if he's got to handle the ball and then we expect him to score, it's a lot. Boogie, his play has really helped everybody else, and he also guards the better perimeter player for the other team. So right now, if X comes back, it just helps us with depth-wise. We can also go smaller if we need to. Cruz has played some 4 for us. We're able to do different things, but right now we'll just see how X does in practice this week, and then we'll go forward from there.
Obviously, Xavier can score in so many different ways. Does playing with somebody like Boogie, who's, I guess, more of a true point guard, penetrate, create, does that help Cruz and Mason kind of settle into their roles as off-ball scorers?
Yeah, it definitely does. Cruz has gone back and forth between playing point his whole career here. This is his 3rd year. He can play the point. I think he was the best 3-point field goal percentage shooter in the league last year. He's better off the ball. We can post him up. We can bring him off screens. We can do different things with him. I think he's just better off the ball. And plus, he's got it helps both he and Mason and I think it'll help X because X and Boogie obviously played together in junior college, so they know their games, know each other's games. So I think it helps everybody, the fact that Boogie's been able to handle the ball, guard the best perimeter player on the other team. He's finishing, but he is he's looking to pass, and it takes a lot of responsibility away from those other guys where they can free their games up.
Todd, you mentioned that the NBA-like stretch that you went on is something you haven't gone through before. What did you learn as a coach, and what did you learn about yourself just in general about having to adapt with that stretch?
Well, coaches are creatures of habit, in college, and you, like we talked about, once you get into league, you can get into a routine of, the preparation. What are we doing on Monday? We're doing the same thing Tuesday, Wednesday to play for, the game on Thursday and Saturday. Friday, we do the same thing. I think with playing, and that was a long time ago when I coached in the CBA, when Eric Musselman and I were in Rapid City, we played 56 games. You're playing a lot of games back to back. I think we had to figure out rest, more than usual. Like we had that one day to prepare for North Dakota State, and I was as much concerned about are our guys going to be rested and ready to go as much as preparing for North Dakota State. You also, we didn't practice at Western Illinois on Sunday after the St. Thomas game. We took that Sunday and just watched film and didn't take them to the gym at all because we had a long bus ride. So maybe putting a little bit more thought process into fresh legs and making sure our guys are mentally sharp and not wearing them out. I also think game after game, you've got to come up with a message, motivation at times, something for them to think about and maybe motivate them. Where if we had a whole week to prepare for North Dakota State, there's a lead up to it, there's a build up. We had one day, and I sometimes you got to look at your guys and see if they're mentally, they're kids. I mean, they're not pro athletes. These guys they got class work, and we're on buses, and they've got a lot to do, and so you got to make sure that they're mentally sharp and physically. And a lot of times, once you get into league, you really don't have that concern, but now you do playing all these games.
How important was it, and how much of an eye-opener, I guess, was it to check in on them mentally, and does it did it teach you to kind of check in on them mentally, maybe even a little bit more
Yeah,
in these trying times?
Yep, and you ask more questions of your staff or the training staff, and make sure guys are getting rest. Are we making sure we're feeding them the right time, the right thing? You probably put more thought into them mentally and how they're doing, especially when you had some sickness go through your team and some, whether it's the flu. We didn't recently we haven't had any other issues, but we just had a lot of guys get sick and not feel well. So yeah, you definitely spend more time doing that, especially when you're playing back to back to back games and you just don't have a lot of time in between. And we were preparing to play Western Illinois, and there was a couple guys that were sick, and I could see it shoot around. I said, I've talked to my staff. I don't know if those guys are going to be able to go tonight, and if they can't go very long, we got to figure this out. Do we go small? Do we go big? What are we going to do? Then the whole thing just hit. But yeah, you spend more time definitely thinking about that and how your guys are.
And even though your coaching staff, you do have two newer first-year assistants on the staff, how much did you have to lean on them? And how much closer did you as a coaching staff got close during these trying times?
Well, assistant coaches, even though they're obviously older, mature, grown men, have families, they're a lot like players, as far as learning the system. Their second, third year, they understand everything. They understand what I expect and how the program's run. They're learning as they go. Eddie and Roman are doing a great job, but they're first-year guys trying to learn a whole new system and learn what I expect and the demands of the program, how we do things, the culture, the way we do things here. So, they're doing a good job, but it's hard the first year. I think having Casey, having been here with me the whole time, makes a big difference. He knows what to say, what not to say, when to bring things up. He's got an understanding of the system now, offensively and defensively, where I don't. He comes to me with things, and we can discuss situations that have happened in the past, and this is what we did before. And so, game after game, you have to rely on your staff, and our guys are doing a great job, but it is hard for the first-year guys. It would help to have more time to prepare for games and more time to meet. We're kind of doing things on the fly a little bit.